Okay, picture this. You're really stressed, maybe a near-miss driving. Your heart's pounding, right? Breathing fast. That's classic fight or flight. But what if? What if the opposite happened? Your heart rate slows way down, your skin feels warm. Today we're doing a deep dive into a really surprising medical condition where the body's stress response is, well, completely upside down.
Exactly. We're talking about neurogenic shock.
Yeah.
And it really flips our usual understanding of shock on its head.
Mhm.
In this deep dive, we'll unpack how it's so different from other shock states, what causes this weird physiological reaction, and importantly, how it's treated. It gives you this unique window into just how much our nervous system controls, well, everything, including circulation.
Right, let's get into that. Because like you said, shock usually means fast heart rate, body freaking out, but neurogenic shock is different. What's actually going on at the core? Why this unusual reaction?
Well, the key thing here is a major imbalance in the autonomic nervous system. Usually, the sympathetic system constricts blood vessels, keeps pressure up. But in neurogenic shock, the parasympathetic system that you rest and digest in sort of takes over predominantly. And this leads to widespread, prolonged vasodilation. The blood vessels just relax and open up way too much.
Ah, okay, so if the vessels get super wide, it's not that you've actually lost blood, but the container is suddenly huge.
That's precisely it. The actual blood volume is fine, it's adequate, but the pipes, the vasculature, are so dilated that the blood just kind of pools. It creates what we call a relative hypovolemic state. The blood's there, but it can't circulate effectively because the pressure just plummets. Systemic vascular resistance drops drastically, basically no squeeze on the blood. And that causes severe low blood pressure, hypotension. And here's a really strange part. You get bradycardia, a slow heart rate, not the fast one you see in other shocks. Ultimately, like all shock, it means tissues aren't getting enough oxygen because the perfusion is just too low.
That combination, low pressure and a slow heart rate, it's just so counterintuitive. It really makes you ask, okay, what actually triggers this? And how do you even spot it if it looks so different?
Yeah, spotting it is key. The signs are almost the reverse of typical shock. So instead of cool, clammy skin, the patient's skin is often dry and warm.
Yay.
And like we said, the big giveaway is that combination. Hypotension with bradycardia, not tachycardia. It happens because the sympathetic system, the one that should be firing off stress signals, is essentially knocked offline. It just can't respond.
Okay, so what knocks it offline? What are the main causes?
Most often, it stems from some kind of significant damage to the nervous system. A severe spinal cord injury is the classic cause. But it can also happen with spinal anesthesia if it goes too high or other kinds of nervous system damage. Less commonly, you might see it with certain depressant drugs or even a really severe lack of glucose, like an insulin reaction.
Yeah.
And it can last a long time, like with a spinal injury, or be really brief, like, just fainting.
Wow. So given how unique it is, how do medical teams actually manage it? It sounds like the usual shock treatments might not work or could even be wrong.
That's a really important point. Misdiagnosis is a danger if you're not thinking about neurogenic shock specifically. You might just pour in fluids thinking it's regular shock. Management really focuses on restoring that sympathetic tone. So if it's a spinal cord injury, that means stabilizing the spine immediately. If it's a spinal anesthesia causing it, sometimes it's about positioning the patient correctly head elevated to stop the anesthetic spreading higher. This specific treatment really has to target the root cause.
Okay, and beyond the immediate fix, what about preventing problems down the line? What kind of ongoing care or preventative steps are important?
Good question. For prevention with anesthesia, like spinal or epidural, keeping the head of the bed up, at least 30 degrees, is really vital. It uses gravity to help limit how far the anesthetic spreads up the cord. For spinal injuries, as I mentioned, super careful immobilization is key right from the start. Don't want to make things worse. Then, ongoing care is about supporting the heart, the blood pressure, the neural function. But there's a big risk people need to watch for. VTE, venous thromboembolism, blood clots. Because the blood vessels are so dilated, blood pools, especially in the legs, raising the risk of DVTs. So you need daily checks for leg pain, redness, warmth, maybe using compression devices, passive movement, maybe even blood thinners like heparin. And one more crucial thing, especially with spinal cord injuries, the patient might not feel pain from internal injuries. So you have to be incredibly vigilant, watching for any subtle signs of internal bleeding, because that could actually lead to a hypovolemic shock on top of the neurogenic shock.
Right. So putting this all together, it's just a really stark reminder, isn't it, how deeply connected our nervous system is to everything, even basic blood flow, and how a disruption there can cause such unexpected, almost paradoxical effects throughout the body.
It really is. And it leaves you wondering, doesn't it, if our bodies can react this unpredictably under certain stresses, what other kinds of surprising physiological responses might be out there? What else are we missing, hidden in plain sight, that understanding could, well, potentially save a life?